Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials, grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
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 Roll call, please.
Allen? Here. LaFour?
Here.
Mistrovich?
Here.
Reindel?
Here.
Ricks?
Here.
Schultz?
Here.
Warren?
Here.
Good to see everybody here this evening. Approval of the minutes for the city council meeting that was held on August 5th. The motion be in order.
I'll make the motion. Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Do we have audience comments at this time?
Hello. I just have a gift to present to the city from the fundraising wrestling event we had on June, I forget what day it was, I apologize. But we have a framed poster that a bunch of the participants.
Very nice.
Oh, cool.
Very nice.
We had 120 people there. Thank you. And we raised about $2,700.
Very good.
So,
That was for Saving Destiny.
Yes, sir. And we're starting to think about the next one. We want to have it a little earlier in the year, maybe like late April, early May. So I still have to talk with Margot and them and get everything ironed out. But we wanted to say thank you for allowing us to have that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for doing it. It adds one more nice event at the auditorium.
Oh, it's
And,
beautiful.
We'd love to support you again to, whatever we can do on this side of the table to help you make that happen.
Right on. Thank you very much, y'all.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Will.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Also, thank you.
Thank you.
It's public comment time. Did you want to make a public comment? Now would be the time to do it.
I don't really know what category I fit in. I approached the city this morning about writing a letter to Mr. John Moore.
In regards to what?
Tony.
Okay, come on up to the microphone. Devin, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We need you to state your name and your address for the record.
Devin Michael Strzelecki. I'm located at 1895 South Allen Road, St. Clair, Michigan. I own Devin's Towing and Recovery. I have been in business for 9.5 years. I have 4 trucks. Currently working with Joey's Towing. I'm going after more work. I'm trying to get bigger. It was brought to my attention that you guys don't have a police contract. I'm trying to get more business. I'm not trying to take anything from anybody. I went and had a conversation with Joe Baller himself today. Trying to work with the towers is like politics. It's you own a tow truck, you all hate each other, unfortunately, and it shouldn't be that way because everybody should work together, in my opinion. But I was going to try and do a rotation, maybe Jeremy's, me, Ballar's. I work with S&S in town here. I cut them discounts. I bring a lot of business to them. I was told that you guys do not really favor to car storage, so I was trying to veer away from that, but I do have a home base in Richmond if need be. I know Ballar's today, they said could do anything. I can do anything with the help of Joey's. I've been working with Joey's Towing for 6 years. He's willing to help. I'm willing to. This has no bid. This has no contract, and I want a shot at it, and Joe today didn't want to hear anything I had to say. I got other towers that help me. I understand he's been chosen for 30 plus years to do this. So I prepared a letter stating who I am, current impound lots, willing to, with your guys' permission, do a impound lot here for the sake of Richmond customers. I can take the Rex back to East China. I think it's pretty kind of crazy that, you know, if a car's impounded in Richmond, they got to go all the way to New Haven and 26 Mile to get their car, and they're a resident of Richmond. So I'd like to try and do something here in Richmond with your permission, if you would allow it, with the help of another tow company that I've been working with for 6 years. So I wrote a letter, which I was instructed to do. They did not want to put me on the agenda. They did not want to give me an application for any sort of new business without writing a letter and talking to Mr. Moore. So here I am, you know, and I did some
That's our normal procedure. But
Google research. Tonight was your meeting, so I figured if I'm going to go home and write a letter, I'd come see where I need to start, and go from there.
yeah, that's, council has addressed this issue in probably the last year or so. As a kind of advisory to our city manager, who does the day-to-day operation of the city. The council really doesn't do the day-to-day operation of the city, which is, I believe, falls under. But I would suggest that you do go through John Moore,
Okay.
our city manager.
Okay, I was given that, and I was instructed to do that, so,
I'll be in touch.
okay. And is that the process that so here's my thing, right? I spend the money, I do the agenda, I do everything, and I get turned down, I get no business. And I understand that's a risk you take and everything. Is there any kind of proposition I can make, or if I do this or do that, that I can get a piece of the pie, you know?
I'll be speaking to you.
Okay.
I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Take care. Okay, moving on, adoption of agenda. Mr. City Manager, any changes?
Yes, under other business, the same two items that are under closed session, there will likely be motions coming out under other business. So purchase of property and city manager evaluation.
Okay, very good. City Council, any changes? Motion to amend the agenda as presented by the city manager would be in order.
I'll make the motion. Support.
What's been made and supported? Any discussion on this? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported to approve the consent agenda. Our rules are to not have discussion on the consent agenda motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have no public hearing. We have 9 items for consideration this evening. The first item being consideration of 2024-2025 drain maintenance match agreement. Mr. City Manager.
Macomb County Public Works Office is responsible for the maintenance of all county drains. They do normal inspections and vegetation removal. Due to budget constraints, they currently partner with communities for sediment removal and cleanout projects. Similar to the project that we did in anticipation of Howard Street, we cleaned out the drain that runs along the railroad track, starting at 32 Mile Road and running north. With some recent heavy rains, there's flooding near the intersection of like where Pre-Step and Beach, right there at the end of Beach Street. And so we met with Daniel Acchiavetti from Candace Miller's office. Unfortunately, he had a family commitment and couldn't be here. He normally would come, like he did when we did this project out here, to present. But for a local match of $7,000, which is less than half, they would be able to kind of continue that drain work from 32 Mile back down to the end of Beach Street, which would significantly help that area. Currently, it's flooding streets when we have a significant rain. Not every rain, but like we did a month or so ago. So we're requesting that council approve the agreement sent over by the Public Works Commissioner's office.
Thank you. Jim, anything to add to this?
Just to kind of expand on that, Again, we had worked from 32 Mile or Division Road North a few years ago, and this is 32 South to Beach and Precept, which is the upper limits of this Richmond-Columbus drain. So when we had those heavy rains, it's significantly backed up due to capacity. There's a lot of vegetation in there. DPW did go out and find kind of the culvert where it outlets into that ditch, and we did attempt to ditch and clear a portion of it, or I'll say the city's portion, until it hits the county drain. That did help, but and that water did recede within 4 or 5 hours, but it was a significant amount of water. It flooded multiple properties in that area. So.
Okay, is there a motion before discussion, council?
I'll make a motion to authorize the expense of $7,000 in matching funds to the Macomb County Public Works Office for drain maintenance within the city of Richmond, with funds charged to the appropriate line item, contractual services, Major Street.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any further discussion on this item? So I'm assuming the water is going to run north then?
Correct.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem right, does it, Schultz? It always runs to the south. But anyhow, as long as it alleviates that problem. We haven't really had a problem or complaints from that area.
Just the last, well, I wasn't aware of it, but last year there was some minor, and then this year there were multiple incidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, council? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 2 is consideration of special event request, Richmond High School Band Boosters.
Mike Shada.
Banner request for annual pumpkin craft extravaganza. I'm sorry, I didn't get my phone here. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider a request from the Richmond Band Boosters to have a banner across Main Street and temporary signage throughout town that would advertise and direct people to their 11th annual pumpkin craft and vendor sale, which is scheduled to be held the weekend of October 5th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and October 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We've approved this banner and temporary signage request in the past.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special event application from the Richmond Band Boosters for a Across the Road banner from September 20th through October 6th in conjunction with their annual pumpkin extravaganza on October 5th and the 6th.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have a second motion for the signs.
I'll make the motion to approve the special event application for the Richmond Band Boosters for temporary signage, in conjunction with their annual pumpkin crab vendor sale, October 5th and 6th. The signs placed at the city limit signs will be allowed beginning Friday, September 20th. The applicant will work with city staff on proper placement of the signs to minimize any site visibility issues.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Any discussion on this? Being not, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion does pass. Item number 3 is consideration of special event request. Rag Cemetery Walk banner request. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider a request from the Richmond Area Historical and Genealogical Society to host its 7th annual Living History Cemetery Walk in the City of Richmond Cemetery on Saturday, September 28th, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with Sunday, September 29th being a weather alternate date, and the placement of an across-the-road banner from Monday, September 16th through Sunday, September 29th.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the request from Rags to conduct a cemetery walk in the City of Richmond Cemetery on Saturday, September 28th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the use of the chapel for registration, and direct the city clerk to apply to MDOT for the placement of an across-the-road banner from Monday, September 16th, 2024, through Sunday, September 29th, 2024.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion on this item?
Is that going to affect the last one we just approved? Because that other one was September 20th.
That one
Got
is
two
the
polls.
banner closest to the school, so the one by Ball Equipment.
Okay.
This one is the banner arms closest to the
just
cemetery.
wanna make
so
sure.
With the two, no.
Okay,
Are you participating this year, Mr. Mayor?
No. I wish I had the time to come up with all that history, put it all in one spot, and I just haven't been able to do that. Maybe when I retire. Oh, wait a minute, I am retired. No, but she keeps asking, and I really would like to do it. It just doesn't seem like there's enough time to put all that history together and do that. Anything else on this? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We wish them good weather. Item number 4 is consideration of design engineering for Main Street water replacement. Mr. City Manager.
The fiscal year 24-25 budget includes funding for the replacement of the water main on Main Street from the railroad tracks up to Division Road. The significant portion of these funds are federal funds that U.S. Representative Lisa McLean's office was able to get to us through an EPA set aside. As part of the project, we do need to do engineering, and we have a proposal from the city engineers, Tetra Tech, to perform that work, and it does fall under the professional services section of our purchasing ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the expense of $92,000 for design engineering services on Main Street water main project by Tetra Tech with expenses charged to the appropriate line item in the water fund.
support.
Motion been made and supported. Discussion. Jim, I'm sorry, do you have anything you wanted to add to this?
No, actually, I do not. Thank
Were
you.
we going to sell pieces of that since it's considered antique when we do replace it? Like
We could try.
1896 or something?
I think our records are not that clear. It's before 1916. I believe it's from the 1800s, so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we certainly appreciate Congresswoman, am I saying that right? Congresswoman
Yes.
McLean, for finding that money for us also to help do this project. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 5 is consideration of design engineering for Oak and Prestap Streets. Mr. City Manager?
The current budget includes funding for the reconstruction of Oak and Prestap streets. And so again, Tetra Tech has given us a proposal to do the design engineering.
Thank you. Is there a motion? I'm sorry, Jim, is there anything you'd like to add to this?
Yes, and actually, maybe I should have clarified in the previous one. The water main project on Main Street is directional boring with some open excavation, so it should be very limited as far as impact to traffic. This Oak and Prestap Street project there's 2 blocks of water main, there's essentially 1 block of sanitary sewer replacement, but the entire length of Oak Street and Prestap Street both will be new pavement as part of this project. Yeah,
Railroad tracks are going to go away on Oak Street?
that is the intention. Yes.
Yeah, okay. We ought to see if the Historical Society wants that, because they did mention one time
Oh, really?
that they
Okay.
might be interested to have a piece of that track. Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's the only track remaining is.
Right in the
Rollwood
street.
Way?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's probably all they have room for over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the expenses of $92,000 for the design engineering services on the Oak and Prestap reconstruction project by Tetra Tech with expenses charged the appropriate line item in the major streets, sanitary, sewer, and water funds.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on this item? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 6 is consideration of approving Swan Creek Estates request for traffic enforcement. Mr. City Manager.
The City Council is scheduled to consider approving a request from the Swan Creek Estates condo associations to enforce the Michigan Motor Vehicle Code within their development. We have done similar traffic control orders for Lake Angela and Rosewood, and I believe the duplexes of Swan Creek. We currently do provide police protection in there. They do property checks and drive through there periodically, but they are not able to enforce traffic laws in there on private streets without these letters of request that we received. As part of the approval, they will be responsible for putting the appropriate speed limit signs in there.
Very good, thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve traffic control order 1-2024, authorizing the Richmond Police Department to enforce all traffic-related issues under the Uniform Traffic Code, State of Michigan Motor Vehicle Code, City Ordinance 90-26 for 3 years within Swan Creek Estates Condo Association subdivision, and require the associations to cover any costs for signage.
Support.
Been made and supported. Any discussion on this item? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to item number 7, consideration of purchase of City Hall server for a firewall. Mr. City Manager?
The City Council is scheduled to consider the purchase of a new firewall for the City Hall server. In 2020, the city utilized COVID funding through Macomb County to purchase a new computer server for City Hall. Along with that new server, the city purchased our existing firewall. We've received notification from the manufacturer Sophos, as well as our IT consultant, High Tech, that product that we purchased then was end of life, or is end of life now, and won't be receiving updates. It's a pretty critical piece for our security here for our computer network, and so does need to be replaced. Based on the work that High Tech does for City Hall and the knowledge they have of our server system, we believe there's justification to waive the purchasing ordinance requirement and accept this proposal.
Very good. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion waiving the purchasing ordinance requirements due to section 64-53D, and to authorize expenses of $6,437.23 for the purchase and installation of new SoPro XGS firewall and 3-year support subscription, with expenses charged to appropriate line items in the general buildings and grounds CHPD equipment acquisition.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion on this item? Being not, roll call, please.
LaFour,
Yes.
Stravich,
Yes.
Rangel,
Yes.
Ricks,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Ellen.
Yes.
Motion does pass. Item number 8, consideration of Richmond TV sponsorship package. Mr. City Manager.
City Council is scheduled to consider approving a sponsorship package for programming created by Richmond TV. At the July 9th Cable Commission meeting, administration presented a sponsorship package meant to increase funds as franchise fees from Comcast have started to decline. The package was then also reviewed at a special meeting in August by the Cable Commission and recommended for approval by the City Council. The sponsorship package is based kind of on two things. One, the sponsorship package that the Parks and Recreation put together, as well as one that St. Clair TV utilizes. So there's kind of two levels. The first level would be just kind of like a screenshot. It's called a bulletin board, but we created a couple here in your packet as samples. It's really kind of like a large flyer for the business that would be done at the beginning of the programming, and they could do a 6-month for $250 or a year for $500, and those would go before the certain programming. We exempt like school board meetings, city council meetings, because they're kind of an official record of the elected body. Excuse me. There's also kind of an individual program sponsorship of $500. It's a little bit bigger lead-in on certain programmings that are a little more popular. And Jason is here to help answer any technical questions you may have.
Very good, thank you. Jason, is there anything you'd like to add at this time to this?
I mean, John basically explained everything. So this would just be to shore up some finances that we've lost in franchise fees. Well, we're not anywhere near where we're in trouble. this is still just to be more forward thinking and try to stem that loss over the next few years.
Very good. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the Richmond TV sponsorship package.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 9, consideration of DTE lighting purchase agreement, BB Park. Mr. City Manager?
The City Council is scheduled to consider approving a DTE purchase agreement to install 2 new light poles with LED fixtures along the eastern edge of Beebe Street Park, east of the demolition derby pit. Although park hours are normally from dawn to dusk, this parking lot is used, for example, when Richmond Little League has tournaments that go into the night and under the lights there, and that area is very dark for people walking back to their cars. So we've been working with Edison to get a proposal. There is a existing pole at the end of the Madison Street, the sidewalk connecting Madison Street to the hike bike path, that those lights have been very problematic and haven't really worked in years. So this project would also put a new LED light at that location as well. So the cost to do the installation is $3,461. There will be also light fixture charges based on their street lighting rates.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make the motion to approve the DTE purchase agreement in the amount of $3,461.35 to install 3 additional lights in the Beebe Street Park and authorize the city manager to sign the agreement.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on this item? It is very dark back there also. But those 2 lights are on that pole, as the city manager well knows. They come on and off when they feel like it.
Yeah.
So quite often, you know, I have a lot of kids that play Little League over there, and it's very, very dark back there. And so this was something that John has been working on for a while. So glad to see it happen. Anything else on this? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We also have the second motion here to increase the funding to the Park and Rec budget.
Make the motion to amend the Parks and Rec budget buildings, additions, and improvement line item from 0 to $3,461.35.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on this item? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Moving on, miscellaneous matters from the city manager, sir.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, city council comments. Around the table, Michael?
Nothing, thank you.
Dennis?
Nothing.
Okay, Jim?
Nothing, Mayor.
Emily?
Nothing, thank you.
John?
Nothing tonight.
Rob?
All set.
Very good. Let's do the calendar real quick. We have some other business we need to do with the city council this evening, today being the 19th. We have a shred day. It'll be happening at City Hall here on Saturday, the 24th, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. There'll be a TIFA meeting on the 28th at 7 p.m. on the 28th. The next regular city council meeting will be on Tuesday, the 3rd. Labor Day will be on Monday. The city buildings will be closed from the 30th. Is that correct, Mr. City Manager? No, only the community center is closed on Friday the 30th. And then the library is closed on Saturday, and we will, all buildings will be closed on Monday the 2nd, reopening on Tuesday the 3rd. And we have the Good Old Days Festival coming up too soon. Okay, let's go back to the matter at hand here. We have 2 closed sessions. We need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to convene into closed session in accordance with Section 8D of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, Public Act 267 of 1976, as amended, to consider the purchase or lease of real property as requested by administration.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Stravich.
Yes.
Rindell.
Yes.
Ricks.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
The four.
Yes.
Motion does pass. We also need another motion to go into closed session for evaluation. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to convene into closed session in accordance with Section 8A of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, Public Act 267 of 1976, as amended, for the purpose of considering a periodic personnel evaluation of the city manager as requested by the city manager.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Any discussion on this item? Roll call vote, please.
Rindell.
Yes.
Ricks.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
The four.
Yes.
Stravich.
Yes.
Motion does pass. We'll go into closed session. Okay, we need a motion to reconvene into open session.
I'll make a motion to reconvene into open session.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We are back in open session here. Under other business, on the amended agenda, we have number 1, consideration of property purchase. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of 69271 South Forest in the amount of $210,000. Direct city manager to prepare and execute the purchase agreement with request for TIFA for funding for this project.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion on this? This will greatly improve our parking lot that we have behind the north end Main Street businesses on the east side of Main. There is one lone house sitting there in somewhat disrepair, and it is an opportunity came up that, for if not for now, but certainly for the future, the additional parking will help those businesses along Main Street. It probably won't be enough in another 10 years, but the way things are going right now, certainly we're growing in that, specifically in that block right there. So I believe this is something the council's been watching and waiting for, and if we can get TIFA to fund it through those captured taxes, it's a great investment for the city of Richmond. Any other comments, discussion?
And just with that price, it's actually below the value of what it was requested on the house. So we did, city manager worked diligently on getting the best deal for that property also.
Yep. Anything else? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Our second item was the approval of the city manager's evaluation. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the city manager's evaluation results. The city council has completed the city manager's evaluation with input from all councilors. The city manager evaluation placed the manager between effective to very effective, and the city manager's and TIFA director's compensation should be adjusted in accordance with the raises provided to the other full-time, non-affiliated personnel this year.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Any discussion? This is an annual review that the city council does of the city manager. And as stated in the motion, our city manager did very, very well, actually improved in categories that we had talked about last year, and has made the city run even more efficient than it did the previous year. So it's like a fine wine, John. The older you get, the better you get.
Oh, boy.
As stated by many of our council members, we appreciate the fact that you're still with us. Your knowledge and your expertise on so many fronts has helped this city to grow in a proper way and retain the quality of life that we have here. So we certainly appreciate you and the way you handle your staff and the way you handle us, as Councilor Schultz informed us. You work well with us and we work well with you, I believe. So it's a mutual thing.
Thank you. Certainly, it's a two-way street, and I appreciate all the work that the council does for this community. Both myself, I appreciate the continuity and the hard work that you've put in. Our staff does as well. I know our department directors, they don't mind coming here when they have items on the agenda. They know how our meetings are run. When we have people from the county or other organizations that attend other meetings, they are always complimentary on how our meetings are run and the professionalism that we have as a team. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. There's no discussion on adjournment. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We are adjourned.